She want Chinese, but I can walk the walk. She want the Angus beef now, baby. She can run that long. This buffet's open. It's all you can eat. I know you're thirsty, baby. I got what you need. I can tell that, baby, yeah. She wants control. She's gotta have it all, yeah. Tell me what you want.
7-8 off in the small blind. I decide to make the super weak play of just limping, and the big blind checks. We see a Jack 9-7 rainbow flop, giving me the small piece with the pair of sevens, so I decide to bet out 800. The big blind quickly calls 800. The turn's a 5 of clubs. I think he sensed weakness. Little did he know, I thought my sevens were good. With my weakness, he bets out 1600, but with my gut shot and small pair, I call 1600, and the river's an ace of clubs, which completes a backdoor flush. With the flush, and I don't believe he has an ace because he didn't raise me pre-flop, with us two being just the blinds in the hand, I decide to bet out 3100. He mucks and I take it down. Just a quick sample of, pay attention to who's on your left, who's on your right, and attack the weak players. I was doing such a good job in this tournament of that, and staying away from the stronger guys at the table.
Every day I see my dream. Every day I see my. Every day I see.
Now we're getting pretty deep, and I have Queen 7 in the big blind. There were 3 limpers, and the small blind limped in. I decided to check my option, see what happens. We see a 7 deuce 3 flop. The small blind checks. I want to see if my sevens are good and take it down right away. This flop is a really good blind flop. So I bet out 2200, hoping everybody will fold. But the under the gun player, to my left, calls 2200. No offense to him, but he was a rather weak player. I watched him win a hand with ace king on a pretty solid board for him. It was ace something, and he just called down a guy and left like 10k behind him when he could have went all in and made more. I'm not sure if that describes him well, but you could tell what this guy was going to do. He would always have his chips in hand ready, like he was going to call whatever the bet was. His chips would be ready. Anywho, middle position folds, and the cutoff throws in a 5k chip. Small blind folds, and I'm ready to see a turn. But the dealer's staring at me. And I'm like, wait a minute, was that a raise? And he said yes. It was an older gentleman who'd been there for a couple of rounds, but not too much. He didn't do anything pre-flop in the cutoff, so I have no reason to believe he has a big hand here. The 5k, min raise confused me beyond belief. I look out of the corner of my eye, and the under the gun player already has a 5k chip in his hand. He's going to make the call. And he has a little over 5k behind that. So I decide no matter what the turn is, I'm going to make this call. I'm going to put the under the gun player all in, which will put the cutoff guy at a decision. So I call, under the gun quickly calls, and we see a turn. It's a jack of spades. I go with my gut and plan, and I bet out 15k. Under the gun player grabs his cards quickly and folds, and the cutoff quickly folds. I take down a pretty decent pot and get to my peak at this point of 130k.
Every day I see my dream. Every day I see my. Every day I see.
$130k at dinner break after level 12. I just have it, that feeling, that glow. I'm sensing weakness in some certain spots and staying away from a couple of spots. A Cincinnati Reds fan who is playing really well, and my buddy who's still in, he's playing really well. and there's a couple middle spots, but mainly there's some people who are playing real weak. They're limping with a lot of holdings, and they show down some monsters, but they'll fold the bigger bets. It's really weird. Anyhow, I feel it, that glow, I feel it. There's about 18 people left. Like I said, only 4 pay. I know there's going to be talks of chop once it gets down to like the final table. I'm open to a chop because of the rake situation, where it's hard to make money. It would stink to go out, 8th, 7th, 6th, and not make any money on this big rake tournament. Still fantastically ran though. The HSI is doing a great job today. I did say I was trying to stay out of his way some, when I felt like he was strong, but I'd also steal his blinds. We don't play soft against each other. He stole a couple of my blinds, I stole some of his blinds. There was one hand though where I had ace 10 and I raised, and he floated me with king something of spades. I'm not sure, it was low, but the flop was king XX and 2 spades, and I checked the flop. The turn was an ace, and he bet small, and I just called because of the weak ace, and the river was a spade. He value towned me into calling that with my ace, and he of course got a flush. It's getting deeper. We get ace king in the big blind. The button, who was the lady villain in my set of king's hand, raises to 4,000. The small blind folds, and I 3-bet to 11,000. She calls 7,000 more. The flop comes ace queen 8, 16K into the 26,000 pot, and she goes all in for 31,000, making my 16K call and 15K more. Definitely not a fold for me. But she stands up, grabs her purse, and pushes in her chair. Real weird. I feel like that's a tell, and she has a huge hand. She's faking me out right now. But I make the 15K more call, and she turns over king jack for Broadway straight draw. And not much else. The turn's another queen, looking good. The river's a 10, giving her the straight. Nobody even called for a 10. She didn't even call for a 10. Why did the dealer put out a 10? So I lose a pot that would have been huge for me. She says, "Sorry, dude." I don't think she was. Now we're getting down to the nitty gritty. 2 tables, 6 on each table, 12 players left. I've had my ups and downs since that ace-king hand, and I'm in the big blind. 10-4 off. The dealer limped, and the small blind limped, so I just checked my option. And the flop comes ace-4-3 with 2 diamonds. I check, the small blind checks, and the dealer bets 5,000. I was thinking I was going to fold here. That was my initial thought. But I think that would be a weak play when I catch a piece of the board in a non-raised pot. I just had that same strong feeling, like he didn't raise pre from the button, so he likely doesn't have an ace. So I make the call. Oh yeah, the small blind folded. And the turn is a 10 of clubs, giving us 2 pair. I decided to check here because I think a bet would be too strong, and he bets out 5,000. Same thing, I think a raise would be too strong, so I just make the call. And the river's a 5 of hearts. I think he's pretty weak, and I'll likely take this hand down. Not a weak player, just a weak hand. So I just take a stab at it with 10,000, less than half the pot bet, which was enough for him to call, and he mucked right away when I showed the 2 pair. Alright gang, 16 levels, 8.5 hours down, 12 people remain, 6 on each table. And once it's short stack, I don't play too well. Since it's short, I play a little looser like you're supposed to, but then you've seen how I play, you know how I play. Anyhow, I have 85K after that, donking a few off after that cooler hand where she 4-outed me. and average is about 95K. So 2 more to the final table and we'll see what happens. I'm back. I've calmed down, you know. After I donked off a little bit, playing real sloppy, trying to beat a guy with jack crap. We're back. We got our glow back. We got this. And my buddy Andy's still in too. I'm not sure where he is chip stack wise, but still kicking. 99K. 99K, he says from afar. Not that you guys care about him. Made the final table. Buddy Andy's on the final table as well. I now have 80K, which is 20 big blinds. Just fine. 115K is the average. I lost about 12K because I raised with 4s and then a guy went all in on me. Oh well. Had to fold. Things aren't going my way this final table, but it is my first final table of the vlog, so I am excited. There are 8 people left. I have ace-6 of diamonds in the cutoff at 2,000, 4,000 blind level. Folds around to me. I raise to 12K. The button makes the call, and the blinds fold. The flop came queen 10, 5 with 2 hearts. Here's where I go wrong. Just like you guys have seen me doing cash play, I make a small weak c-bet, 16K. He was the chip leader, so I'm not sure if he had a queen or if he was on a draw here, but he made the call. The turn brought another queen. I could fold and run with my tail between my legs, but why do that when I could make another weak bet of 22K, trying to represent what? Trip queens? Get the guy to fold? Maybe a big heart draw? Evidently, he did what I've been doing the whole tournament, and he sensed weakness in me. He raised enough to put me all in. I cried. I made the fold, leaving me with 27K, 5 big blinds, because it was getting ready to be the 5K level.
And when it falls down, who you gonna call now?
Well, gang, it was fun, but busted 8th. I did not play very well on that final table at all. I raised a couple of spots and got pushed out with some all-ins and just some failed things. I had a couple of c-bets that worked out, a couple blind steals, but for the most part, I didn't play very well. Didn't have any cards, but that's no excuse. You don't need cards to win at poker, right? My all-in hand, I only had 5. I screwed myself down to 5 big blinds with that queen turn crap, and I went all in with ace-10 of diamonds, middle position. And the small blind called with queen jack off. He had a lot of chips though, so you know, for only 4 more big blinds to him, no big deal. It was rag, king, queen, and no help. So that's over. Nobody ever said anything about chopping. I'm really surprised. I thought for sure they'd try to chop it early. If we would have chopped now, we would have all got about 900, and shit, that's more than 4th place money. 4th place is 880. You know, I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of good reads. I think my bets improved. I know toward the end here you probably see me going back down to my smaller bet sizing, which was so weak. But I appreciate you watching. Please subscribe if you haven't. Give this video a thumbs up. We're going to come back again, do it again. Hopefully get in some cash before the next month's tournament. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for watching. I don't think I could have made it this far in the tournament, as sad as it sounds, without your guys' critiques on my betting sizes. I think that really helped me get a lot more value tonight, and I appreciate it. How many times have I said I appreciated it already? All right, time to sweat Andy. 5 people left, and after break, during break, I told Andy not to chop unless he got 2K, because they wouldn't chop when he went 1K when he was short stacked with 7 people left. And they just made him agree to $17.50, which isn't bad. That's almost second place money, but I told him, no, you gotta go for 2K, you know. Either way, $17.50, not too bad. Love it. He did great. Great run for him. Too bad it isn't for me, because you guys don't care about Andy, as I said earlier. Thanks for watching. This is a long, drawn-out vlog.
Tell me what you want.